Haley, how you doing? Yeah, I got your message here, and I thought I'd create this video because I think I could expeditiously answer a lot of your questions and make things much more clear through a video than I can through a few paragraphs of writing. So let's do it this way, if that's okay. So, a little confused on the steps, and that's okay, Haley. It's okay. It's really super common for students to be very unclear as to the process. Usually it starts clicking in around the third week. And the reason I say that, especially if you haven't done this before, if this is your first time, I promise you, when this class is done, you'll be like, oh yeah, no problem. I totally get it. And you will. So let's just address these questions. So the process book is supposed to be more of a proposal for my app. Not a proposal, Haley, but more of a record of a visual record of what you have done throughout the entire process from the ideation phase all the way through. And I think a really good way to understand it is to take a look at a finished process book. And then we've got a couple. I've been, as you know, I've been leaving examples in the announcements area, and those are examples specific to each week assignment. But I haven't left a complete project process book in there. But there is one available to you, and it's right over here in this week one, project one, user testing design process begin. All the way down at the bottom of the page is this project example treehouse. We're going to open this, and I'm going to show you what a complete project process book looks like. I want to bring this down in size a little bit so it fits in the window. Now, forgive me if you've looked at this before, but this is the abstract. You have the statement of interest, influences, thesis project proposal. This is all your research, functions and features. Remember that, the three main features. This is functions and features. Then over here we have a mind map, and that's just kind of an ideation process. Then we get into the research stage. We have the comparative analysis, basic research, comparative analysis, where the designer's looking at the competition, giving the pros and the cons of the competition. Three different sets, actually four different sets of competition, right? Actually, no, there's five. So this is really thorough in analyzing the competition. Comparative matrix. This is actually a side-by-side comparison of all of the competitive apps that were listed in that section. We have the target audience. Over here we have the user experience section. This is where we kind of start getting into the week two assignments. Personas and task flows. Look familiar? Indeed, it does, right? So there's your persona right there. Here's a task flow associated with that persona. Then here's another persona, another task flow associated with that persona. Now, I think this is what your question is alluding to. Do the task flows for the prototype follow the scenarios? And these are task flows. Something's going on. My Acrobat's running kind of funny. But anyways, to answer that question, the answer is no. You don't just base your clickable prototype on one man, I cannot figure out what's going on with my... Anyway, you don't base your clickable prototype on one scenario. I'll show you that in a second. I'll show you some examples. But at any rate, so here's more personas and task flows. All right, then we have a sitemap. Now we have technical specifications. Now some of this is not required. Some of this was just optional that this student had decided to really go off on this. So then we have, this is more of a process of the visual direction. And you've seen this as all as a basic process book. So here are the wireframes for all of the screens associated with the app. This is really important. Here's the screen mockups. Okay, then here's development and planning. Here's the usability testing. So it's real. These are the scenarios that each usability test has gone through. Okay, so log in, create a profile, change the theme, lower the volume of sounds, create a reading a pet, and buy a book. So that is what each test is based on. Okay, so unfortunately, in this particular presentation, we don't have representation of user testing of the paper prototypes or user testing. We don't have results. So this is, it just kind of gets you a good idea of where we're at. Now, coming up in week 4, so in week 3, there's examples. Let me show you. Let me get out of here. And we jump over to the announcements. for the class, and let me do that. We'll open that. Gosh, my computer's running strangely today. Okay, so week 3 assignment examples. And then here's week 2 assignment examples. So you definitely want. I'll be posting examples in the announcements every week. Okay, so week 4 we'll have I'll go ahead and post some complete process books and actually some clickable prototypes. So let me show you a clickable prototype. This is a clickable prototype right here, okay? Now I'm going to jump over. This is done in InDesign, and you can see there's teacher's login. Each one of the screens where it's clickable has this little kind of color circle, okay? So let's go ahead and see how we can do this. So we can either go to the teacher's login area, we can go to the enter the app area, and then we can go here. So let's enter the app. Here's what we have. These are the students in this particular teacher's class. We go to a student, there's a student password, that she selects her password and she's in. Okay, now weekly lessons. Let's go to week 3. Here's the weekly lesson for week 3. See, learn, play. Let's go ahead and click play, see, learn, play, lesson 3. Now we see we can either go back, or we can go home, or we can go to a note to the parents. Here's a note to the parents, and over here we have a new message area. Let's go back to the home screen. Let's come back here. Here are the other different areas. Okay, there's kindergarten. So as you can see, no, it's not following one specific, excuse me, it's not following one specific scenario. It's just giving a general synopsis of the capabilities of the app. Now, why do we do this? Number one, we do this app because when we create this clickable prototype, it's basically for the edification of any of the interested stakeholders in the project. Okay, so it could be investors, it could be designers, it could be developers. And it's a way to kind of say, okay, here's my idea for an app. Is it feasible? Do we move forward with it? Okay, so you're not just going through one little scenario. Now, it's important to note that this is just a prototype. So it's a basic, bare bones look and feel of what the actual app would look like, right? I hope that answers your questions. If not, let me know. I'll be glad to make any necessary further clarifications. But it's really important. So definitely keep that treehouse example. That's the one I showed you that was over there in week 1. And then also be sure to keep abreast of the announcements and the examples therein. Okay, Haley, I hope this helps. If not, let me know what I can clarify. And otherwise, if you have any other questions, please let me know. All right, cool. Thank you.